Hello, Algebra 2. Today we're going to be working on multiplication and addition and subtraction. And I know that seems silly, but we're going to build towards factoring polynomials. A polynomial is essentially just an equation that has multiple variables in it. So for instance, if I had something like 3x squared, let's see, hold on, like 3x squared plus 4x, you don't need to write this down, plus 4x, if I can write it down even, plus 4x plus 4. Like that's an example of a polynomial, essentially. And you can have things like x cubed, all that stuff. We'll be breaking them down into smaller pieces. For instance, what do I mean by that? If you had something that looked like this, x plus 4, and then like let's say you had 3x plus 2. We're going to be learning how to take them when they're like the big string of numbers with the cubes and the squares and break them down into things that look kind of like this. But in order to do that, we have to have our multiplication and our addition skills up to par. So I'm going to blow through these notes because you're going to ask me, how do you know this? How do you know this? Because I know my times tables. So those who know their times tables are in for a treat. Those that do not, this is going to be difficult for you. So here we go. Remember, we're dealing with positives and negative numbers. So this question, what multiplies to 6 that adds to 5? That's what we're looking for here. What multiplies to 6 that adds to 5? In this case, you have 3 times 2. That is equal to 6. And then you also have 3 plus 5, or 3 plus 2 equals 5. Why is that not writing? Cool. 3 plus 2 equals 5. That's all this is asking for. Why are you not writing? This is cool. What up? There we go. 3 plus 2 equals 5. So that is what we're dealing with here. Next, what multiplies to 9 that adds to 6? I know my multiplication table, so 3 times 3 is 9. And then 3 plus 3 is 6. 3 plus 3 equals 6. And I still don't have a new pen. I've ordered 2 different pens now, and they're the wrong ones, and it stinks. Sorry, y'all. What multiplies to 20? That adds to 9. I know this one. 4 times 5 is the same. It now adds up to 4 plus 5 now adds up to 9. Again, how do I know this so quickly? I know my times tables. You will have to figure this out. One of my recommendations for kids who don't know their times tables is using things like Desmos. You can go through and do like 20 divided by 2, 20 divided by 3, 20 divided by 4. Start at 2 and work your way up, basically. And then you'll find some multiples that go together. So you would have had to have tried it until you reached like number 4 with this one. And then you would have been like, oh, cool, 20 divided by 4 is 5. That adds up to 9. So it's kind of an extra bit of work, but it is possible with calculators. All right. So negative numbers, keep this in mind. Both negatives, when they multiply or divide, they multiply to positive numbers. And then that matters as far as our adding goes. So in this case, negative 2 times negative 9 is positive 18. However, if you add them together, which is right down here, it equals negative 11. So keep that in mind, that you can have positive outcomes with your multiplication, but negative outcomes when adding together. So the next one, negative 4 times negative 7 is positive 28. But when you add those two terms together, they end up being negative 11. So what multiplies to 18 that adds to negative 11? They just answered that above. I don't need to write that in, but I'll do that anyways. Negative 2 and negative 9. Negative 2 and negative 9. And then what multiplies to 28 that adds to negative 11? Same thing, negative 4 and negative 7. Again, some of you are going to have a great day today. Some of you not so much. And that's all right. Going to the next page. Right here, essentially, I'm just going to fill this out. It's not that big of a deal. When the signs are different, yada, yada. I'm going to push pause on this and fill this out fully, and then let you take a look at it and push pause yourself. Okay, I'm back. This sheet is worth reading. I'm not going to read it to you. It's essentially saying that you will end up with sometimes a negative number and sometimes a positive number. You can end up with all sorts of variations. So you can copy those notes that I wrote down there. What multiplies to negative 12? That adds to negative 1. This is where it gets trickier. In this case, it's negative 4 times 3. So negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. And then if you were to add those together, negative 4 plus 3, try it on your Desmos, it equals negative 1. Some of these notes help, some don't. Like, they're just there to help anyone who's struggling and needs extra tips. Read the bullet points. What multiplies to negative 16 that adds to 6? In this case, it's 8, negative 2. How do I know that? 8 times negative 2 is negative 16, but then when you add them together, 8 plus negative 2, or subtract them in this case, 8 minus 2, they go to 6. So that's basically it. I'm going to go to the next page. And here we go. This is a whole chart of things. I am going to push pause and I'm going to fill this chart out, and then you can copy it in your notes as well too. This is just to basically like get you more practice. I also recommend trying to do some of these before filling them in. So here we go. I'm going to push pause. All right. I filled out this chart. Go ahead and push pause and fill this out. There's not much of note to say. I think it's pretty straightforward. And once you have these notes in there, you can reference it and see how this works. You can see a combination of negative and multiples and positive numbers and things like that. There is a Delta math assignment on this. It's a kind of a cool little game. I'm going to show you the first one real quick. I'm going to push pause on this again. Hold up. And when I unpause, it'll be a different screen. So make sure you copy this down in your notes. So this is what your assignment's going to look like, quite a bit actually. And it's just kind of, it looks daunting at first, but basically the top number is what we're multiplying to, and the bottom number is what we're adding to. So would you be able to figure what this is? And so in this case, 6 times 6 is 36, but 6 plus 6 is also 12. So that's how you play this game. That's how you do the assignment. I recommend doing it. And again, for those who know how to do this, you're great. For those who are struggling, keep in mind we're going to be doing this for the next 6 weeks. So get on it. All right, good luck, y'all.